Peace and blessings. I hope you are having a phenomenal day. Welcome to Storytime. I hope you are doing excellent. And the story that I'm going to be reading for us today is called The 5 O'Clock Band. This story is written by Troy Andrews, and it's illustrated by Brian Collier. Collier. I hope I said that correctly. Um, I hope you enjoyed this story. I really enjoyed. I read it for myself. I try to read these stories first before I post them, and I got so much out of it, and hopefully you will too. So, for those of you who want to follow along, if you go to the library, that's where I got this book from. You can check it out and read along. If not, you can turn the captions on here on YouTube and it'll post the words for you. So those of you all who are just learning how to read, you can have those words there as a way to help you to start seeing sight words and learning the words that go with the story. So that's just a tip. Okay. Everyone's hometown is special. It's the place that helps you grow into the person you'll become. For one little boy called Shorty, his hometown roots were, were very important. He was born in New Orleans, and in this city, there are sounds and tastes and celebrations unlike any other place in the world. That is absolutely true. I've been there. It's amazing. Many even call it magical. The old, the city showed Shorty how to see the world, and its people helped him become the person he was destined to be. And here are the magnificent illustrations for this book. Shorty liked to play music. In fact, he was in a band. They called themselves the 5 O'Clock Band because that was the time that they started to play every afternoon. After school, after school and homework were finished, the band lived in a lively neighborhood called Treme. The 5 O'Clock Band would parade through the streets of Treme down to Jackson Square in the center of town and back around just like all the older musicians did. They played for the people for rounds of applause, and sometimes they even got tips. But one day, Shorty was practicing his trombone and got so lost in his own music that he forgot to meet the 5 O'Clock Band at their regular time. Shorty ran to Jackson Square, trombone in hand, but his bandmates had already left. He had missed their performance and parade, and he knew he had let them down. One day, I want to be the band leader, but how can that happen if I can't even get to the show on time, Shorty thought. Shorty walked through the neighborhood around like, excuse me, Shorty walked through the neighborhood around the large square in the French Quarter where musicians gathered. He smelled delicious gumbo and jambalaya in the air and heard the sounds of other musicians echoing through the streets. But Shorty kept his head down. Not even the sounds of the brass instrument could cheer him up until suddenly he heard a booming voice cry out, "Shorty, where you at?" Shorty looked up to see Tuba Treme. He was a giant of a man, but he was as sweet as pecan pie, and the sounds that floated out of his horn were even tastier. Tuba and his band had been playing in the quarter for as long as Shorty could remember, and they played songs that were over 100 years old. "Where you at, Tuba?" Shorty called back, feeling down. Looks like looks like you've got the blues, little man. Tuba Treme had noticed Shorty's sad face. "I missed the 5 o'clock band, and I don't know where they've gone. I'm afraid I won't have what it takes to be a real band leader if I can't even show up on time." Tuba Treme placed his giant horn, excuse me, Tuba Treme, yes, placed his giant horn to his lips. The first notes of "When the Saints Marching In" tickled Shorty's ears. Like so many other New Orleans musicians, Shorty had learned how to play his horn with this tune. Pride swelled in Shorty's chest as he and Tuba played the same notes together that Louis Armstrong had played many years before them in these same city streets. I did not know that. Tradition, Tuba Treme said. Every band leader needs to know where music came from in order to move it forward. If you understand tradition and you keep it alive, you will be a great band leader. "Thanks, Tuba," Shorty said as he waved goodbye. He hoped to be able to play just like Tuba Treme one day. Shorty continued walking through the quarter along the banks of the Mississippi River. A steamboat floated alongside him, and the steam whistle sounded. He thought about how many musicians had played on that river, even Louis Armstrong. Shorty blew his horn back to the steamboat and smiled. His growling stomach led him back toward home, but the sound of the, excuse me, oh, but the scent of red beans and rice made him stop in his tracks. I'm sorry, you all. Some of the print on the paint is a little bit hard to see on the illustrations here. So my eyes were trying to figure out these words. Where you at, Shorty? Queen Lola out, called out the window of her restaurant. Shorty was still feeling defeated, but no one could refuse a meal from Lola, the Creole Queen, one of the best chefs in New Orleans, if not the world. Where you at, Queen Lola? Shorty answered as he opened the door. Queen Lola served him a heaping plate of red beans and rice, along with andouille sausage, collard greens, and okra with tomatoes. She had been making this dish for over 50 years. Oh, excuse me. Mm. She had been making this dish for over 50 years, treating, oh gosh, treating over everyone who came through the door. Oh, treating everyone who came through the door like family, even Martin Luther King Jr. So I'm glad that happened. For those of you all who are new readers, everybody makes mistakes while they're reading. So if you come across words that are challenging for you, um, don't feel bad about it. Everybody makes a mistake. I've been reading for a long time, and sometimes I come across a word that I'm like, maybe I've said it before, but haven't read it. So I have to say it, and then that helps me to then say, oh, yeah, that's what that word is, as my eyes are looking at it. So I'm going to continue with the story. As Shorty dug, as Shorty dug in, he asked Queen Lola the question that was weighing on his heart. I let my band down today, but I want to be a great band leader and make amazing music, just like you make amazing meals in your kitchen every day. How do you do it? Queen Lola smiled. She smiled wide. Love, she said. There's love in my food because I love every dish I make. It's my special sauce. As long as you love what you do, you will always be a success. I don't love anything more than playing music, but this meal sure is close. Thank you, Queen Lola, Shorty said. Come by anytime, Shorty, she said. Why don't you head back out and see if you can find your band? That is such excellent advice. Love what you do, you will be successful. Shorty felt a little better now that his belly was full. But he knew he still had more to learn. As he walked toward Treme looking for his band, he heard the rumbling of drums in the distance. It sounded like glorious thunder. As he turned the corner, he stood face to face with the most majestic person he had ever seen. We are Indians, a chant pierced through the warm, swampy air. It was the chief of the neighborhood Mardi Gras Indian tribe. Big Chief and the drummers chanted, as they pounded out a rhythm. We are Indians, Indians, Indians of the nation, the whole wild creation. Shorty knew his song. Shorty knew this song was a prayer that the Mardi Gras Indians sang before they marched down the street. They believed the song would protect them on their journey as they went through the day looking for other tribes. Mardi Gras Indians only exist in New Orleans. They are a special group sacred to the city. Where you at, Shorty? Big Chief asked as his group slowed their drumming. Where you at, Big Chief? Shorty hollered back. You and the tribe sound amazing. I'm actually looking for my group, the 5 o'clock band, but I need to know, what does it take to be the Big Chief? Big Chief picked up his trombone and shook it proudly as he looked up to the sky. Dedication, he said. Each year, all the Indians make new suits, hand sewn from scratch. It takes a lot of time and patience, but when we hit the streets, it's worth it. We are the soul of Mardi Gras. Shorty noticed how Big Chief's suit shimmered in the light, about how important it was for him to practice his craft every day in order to carry the honor of being a band leader. Suddenly, Shorty heard the familiar melody of a brass band in the distance, and he followed it. He ran toward it. He knew those sounds could only come from the 5 o'clock band, and there were his friends parading down the avenue toward him. Where you at? The 5 o'clock band sang. Where you at? Shorty answered. I'm sorry I wasn't there for you guys today. I promise I'll never let you down again, Shorty said. But I learned that I have all the ingredients we need for success. Excuse me. I learned that we have all the ingredients we need for success. We have dedication, we honor tradition, and most of all, we play with love. Now I know what it takes to lead. Why don't you start? Now I know what it takes to lead. Why don't you start us off and take the lead right now, Shorty? One of the boys said. Shorty raised his horn to his lips, stepped back in front of the band, and played the opening notes of When the Saints Go Marching In. As the 5 o'clock band paraded home to Treme, they waved at the friends and neighbors who clapped their hands and danced in step behind them. And that is the end of the story. I want to show you this picture. This is actually based on a true story. So this is the 5 o'clock band here. And this is the Chiefs uh, that they were coming across in the story at the Mardi Gras. So I thought this was an amazing story, and it taught such a great lesson about doing what you love, about honoring tradition, and about dedication. You know, those are very key ingredients for just about anything that you want to do. I hope you enjoyed this story, and I hope it encourages you to read more. And, I was thinking about, I've been hearing a lot of conversations about wealth. And in truth, reading is a key to wealth. Reading is actually a key to success. So, reading is actually wealth. And I hope that you will build your wealth with more books and more stories. Enjoy them, whether you listen to an audiobook, take a visit to the library, um, you know, watch Storytime on YouTube. Do whatever you can to enjoy more stories. And until the next time, I hope that you keep reading. I hope that these story times encourages you to read more books. And if you're not reading yet, to at least enjoy the stories as you're working on learning how to read. And until the next time, I hope you have an amazing day and please enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.